There's no one I'd rather hear from today because you have just been a warrior and you have been a truth teller, and we just cannot both sides this thing a year later. This was a domestic terrorist attack on our Capitol. I know you were in your office that day, correct?
Yes, I was in my office that day and watching on television as the world was watching with disbelief, absolutely stunned at what I was seeing and thinking to myself, this could never happen in America. How did this come together? And of course, everything that we know thus far and that we have learned, we know that the domestic terrorists, in cooperation with those who are the supporters of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump himself was the inspiration behind all of this. And it was their organizing, it was their support that brought these domestic terrorists and others to the Capitol to basically invade our Capitol, to destroy our Capitol building, and to look for those that they would do harm to. God forbid they would have found Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters. We'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What was your reaction to the president's speech this morning?
I didn't hear it, but I'm told by my staff who called earlier this morning to say that he absolutely called out the president as a liar. He attacked the big lie and talked about the fact that the president, that former president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, was responsible for the lie that has caused the kind of undermining of our democracy that we're experiencing. I'm told that was the essence of his speech. I did not hear it.
I forgot you're home here with us in California, so you were not up an insane o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm up because I get paid to be up this early. So what about Merrick Garland? What is your take on the pace of what's happening? What he said yesterday? Do you have some?
I don't know exactly, but I am focused on trying to find out what it is about him that would cause him to protect the papers that the commission needs in order to understand the president's role and his involvement in the organizing of this. As I understand it, our Attorney General is saying that in order to protect the interests of our country, those papers have to be protected. I'm disturbed by that. I don't understand it. I want to know more about it because I think that the country is in danger of having our democracy destroyed. And I don't know what could be more dangerous than that.
Yeah.
So I want to know why. I just got to find out. I'm going to work on it.
Yeah. Congresswoman, one of the things, I've been talking about all morning, I get so disturbed of is the both sides do it, school of thought that the media sometimes falls into that, this was entirely a one-sided attack on our Capitol last year and members that you serve with were involved. I mean, you just spoke out against Marjorie Taylor Greene. You called her an extremist radical who has no business in the House after she was just banned from Twitter. You called her dangerous. You said she's dangerous because she doesn't believe in the Constitution herself. She's been threatening other members of Congress. I mean, what is it like to serve with people that appear to have been part of this insurrection?
Well, I want to tell you, it's very disturbing to, be in the same house with these members. I never dreamed that someone who was a QAnon supporter would be in the House of Representatives and brazenly and openly, coming up with all of the lies and the distortions that she does. She is a dangerous person, and it is not easy to be there with them.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, number one, those who absolutely appear to be crazy.
Yeah.
And then I don't understand those who are so afraid of the of Trump that they would dare not, be responsible, to their duties in the Congress of the United States. I mean, if you have that much fear of a person, you shouldn't be there. And they are absolutely, many of them are afraid of Donald Trump.
Right.
So the crazies, the fearful, they're all there, and it is uncomfortable.
I want to give you an opportunity to address your, being named a lot in these both sides do it things. Marjorie Taylor Greene just said of her being banned from Twitter. She said when Maxine Waters can go to the streets and threaten violence on Twitter, mention a bunch of other people, equating that. You frequently get thrown in there, and I, of course, have always vociferously defend you that you have never called for violence. But how do you address that? You've talked about protests. You have never called for violence. Can you address that?
Never.
What she said?
Never call for violence. And you know what? I depend on people to know the difference. I depend on people to go to my speeches and hear what I say. I have never called for violence, for anyone to carry a gun, for anyone to hit anybody, to beat anybody. None of that.
Yeah.
And so when they accuse me, if they simply follow my speeches, go to my Twitter, see what I said in Minneapolis, they will never find that I did what Trump did when he talked about beating the hell out of people at rallies, and the fact that he would bail them out, he would pay their legal fees. I've never talked about take them out on a stretcher. He's the violent one, and she is the violent one.
Yeah.
She is a gun lover who talks about, even made some reference to Nancy Pelosi and the guns and should be dead or something. I don't know what the exact comments were, and I won't try to repeat them. But she is a crazy, dangerous, violent person.
Yeah. By the way, not only do I follow your speeches, I had to actually follow you after you spoke once, and I do not recommend it to anybody. But, Congresswoman, what do you feel? I don't know what to say. What's the word? Hopeful after Merrick Garland's speech? I mean, do you feel like we are going to get justice for January 6th?
Well, here's what. I'm very pleased that the Speaker organized a commission, and I'm very pleased that they are, moving to do more subpoenas and identify, the people that were either, involved or supposedly involved or close to the president, had something to do with organizing. But we've got to be tougher, and we've got to go deeper, and we've got to, number one, even with our Attorney General, say to him, there's no more danger than what we're experiencing and what we have gone through. I want to know what's in those papers. I don't think the president, a former president, should be protected in any way. I don't want to get to a point where, he's not indicted. This man needs to be indicted. He's dangerous. And so I have to find out from the Attorney General, and I have to, if he, continues to want to protect those papers, I've got a problem. I've got a problem.
Yeah, I hear you. And, public shaming, I guess the good news is, works to some degree. Trump canceled his Yay for Me speech today, I guess, at Mar-a-Lago. Was it Cobb County Republican Party was going to have a, vigil for the terrorists from January 6th that they canceled. Lindsey Graham is apparently one of the people who talked Trump out of holding this speech today, and he said there could be peril in doing a news conference, best to focus on election reform instead. Well, I'm glad Merrick Garland and the president drew a straight line from January 6th to quote-unquote election reform, which you and I know means election. It means, voter suppression is what they're doing. That's the problem, is the big lie has led to all of this voter suppression legislation that we have got to pass voting rights to stop, don't we?
Yeah, we need to do it. I don't know how we do it. At this point in time, the president is going to use the bully pulpit. He's going to be doing some speeches. Everybody is doing everything that they can, the civil rights organizations, the progressive community, and, to have two of our members in the Senate who stand in the way of, voting rights is absolutely not to be understood. And I'm very, very upset about Manchin and about the cinema. I don't believe that they could be doing this, not understanding the damage that they're doing to our country. And they will not be recorded kindly in history if, in fact, they don't change their minds and change their minds soon.
Yeah, I've said it over and over. Don't talk about how much you love John Lewis if you're not going to, vote for everything he stood for, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this man, sacrificed for voting rights, was beaten in the head and could have been killed, because of the beatings that he took and the jailings that happened to him. And of course, what we had in voting rights was a way by which, when the locals came up with policies and practices and laws that would undermine voting, they had to come before the Justice Department and defend that and be denied that if, in fact, it was voter suppression. John Lewis worked all his life for that, and now the Supreme Court has undermined that, and he's trying to fix it. Before he died, this is what he wanted more than anything else, to correct what the Supreme Court did in interfering with the right for the Justice Department to determine whether or not voter suppression was taking place in our local communities, in our the secretaries of state, the city council people who would come up with laws that would make it more difficult for people to vote. Yeah. Now we don't have a way by which to check them and to review what they're doing and deny them the right. And it is going wild in these states that love Trump and who are afraid of Trump and worried about their elections. They are taking unusual steps for voter suppression in so many different ways.
I am always hopeful. Why? Because I'm represented by the great Maxine Waters of the great state of California. Ever since my producer, I don't know when it was, 20 years ago, said, turn on the TV, Maxine Waters is mad. I have loved you since that moment. And I have marched next to you and fought next to you, and will always do so. And please come on anytime. We miss you.
Well, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your leadership in what you do and the way that you have the courage to bring out the truth. And I love you. And please, at any time I'd like to be on the show that we can get together, I will be there.
That is a automatic yes every time. Thank you, Maxine. All right, Representative Waters, thanks so much from the great state of California.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't mean to call her Auntie Maxine.
You called her Maxine.
Face. Oh, my God, I didn't mean to do that.
You called her Maxine.
She said nice things about this little lame-ass white girl, and I just was feeling all...
She said she loves you.
I do. I love her back. It's one of the most lasting loves in my life. Maxine Waters.